In the days of Megatron, it was not like this. We had Radio Free Cybertron.
Radio Free Cybertron, the original Transformers internet radio show. You're watching Radio Free Cybertron. Transformers! For the latest Transformer news, reviews, and more, visit tformers.com.
This is Radio Free Cybertron episode 372, recorded, what is today? July 2nd, 2014. That's got to be a joke. My computer's lying to me. It's not July already. No, not crap. It is. Actually, it was like
6 months to Toy Fair.
It was yeah, it's true. It was 100 degrees when I got out of the office this afternoon. So I guess it's the truth. I am your host, Brian Kilby. With me this week we have Melvar, Diecast, Don, and John DeLuna.
What's up,
John? So I was setting. Oh gosh, I don't remember what it was. Was it the you did a promo like back in 1999 or 2000 for that I think PVC auction or whatever it was. I posted it to our Facebook page a few years ago. I was listening to it like 2 or 3 weeks back, and that's just so freaking funny. I think I'm going to post.
What was it again?
It was this. I think it was this overinflated auction that.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is it was like basically you cut a promo on it. It was pretty awesome.
Okay. Like
so
a Ric Flair promo.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to post that to our Facebook page tomorrow for Throwback Thursday because that was pretty awesome.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I discovered like I can post things in the future by post dating them. So
I've listened to the old stuff, like the old stuff from that era.
It's hard.
And it's hard to listen to.
It's hard.
Because, like, at least for me, like, I can hear it in my voice that my brain worked faster then, and I could speak more clearly. So I'm basically falling apart at this point.
So obviously I sounded terrible, but I was much smarter then. I know more now, but I was much smarter then.
Yeah, your brain was just
nimble.
More efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know way so much more than I knew when I was 20, but I was so not being in school, still being in school. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts so bad. So what we're talking about, in case you don't know, we are the original Transformers internet radio show and one of the world's first podcasts. We started doing this thing in 1999. It's 2014. God, why are we still doing this? But we saw, everybody here except for Melvar saw Age of Extinction, which is Transformers 4. We will be talking about that after our break, which is probably, if I had to guess, about 40 minutes from now. So, if you don't want to know what happened in the movie, if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't had time, or if it hasn't, debuted in your country yet, you're going to be safe up until our break, and I will give another warning. So, on the show this week, of course, we have a discussion of Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. We all get together and talk about that. I have a review of Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark on the Xbox 360. I will be playing that. We also have the news. I think Diecast will probably, and Don will probably share some thoughts on Scoria. They both got that toy. John, did you get Scoria?
I did not.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm not getting it, so.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's pretty, but not buying it. And, of course, we also have the news and This Week in History, and Q&A with Rob Springer. And Q&A with Rob Springer, of course, is about the movie as well this week. So I watched part of it. I didn't get a chance to finish it, so I'm not certain if there are any spoilers or not, so I would just assume that there are. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and jump to This Week in History. So, This Week in History, 1987. The first episode of Headmasters, which is 4 warriors come out of the sky, that premieres in Japan. So that was 27 years ago. I know I know that Headmasters started that early, but for some reason it just feels like it was later than that, to me personally. Because you have to assume that the series actually wound up in Japan about a year or so after. So 2010 would have been about a year after, I'm guessing. So it seems to me like 2010 would have been in 1987 and Headmasters in 88, but didn't work out that way. They must have been much faster about dubbing those episodes than we would have been. So Four Warriors Come from the Sky, or Come Out of the Sky, however you want to say it. It's up to translation. Basically, the episode features the Headmasters, who are from another planet, and instead of being Nebulons or humans, they are little robots. So they're ancient warriors from from Cybertron. No, it's from the dubs. They're like ancient Autobots from someplace else. Not my favorite Headmasters episode.
Not our finest moment.
No, it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. And in 2001, the special collector's edition of Transformers the movie is released on VHS in the UK by Sony Wonder and Maverick Entertainment. So that's the one. I've actually never watched the UK version, but that's the one that has the Star Wars S scroll at the beginning, right?
Yes, I believe so. You are correct, sir.
I've never sat down and watched that. I kind of want to. And it also has, I think, it might have been, though, in a later edition, there's also, like, post-roll or something that references Optimus Prime's return. Because, of course, kids are traumatized by the death of Optimus Prime.
Why? He dies all the time.
He does. My Optimus Prime committed suicide because he lost a video game. That's pretty much... I stole that. I stole that from our... You didn't read the comic, Don?
No. Everything just blinked off here for a minute. I'm not sure what happened.
Skype hates you.
Okay.
You must have crap internet.
Yeah, well, Diecast did the speed test, and he said, "Oh God, that's the worst upload I've ever seen."
So I found out. So obviously, doing the podcast in video is very bandwidth intensive. We do 3 simultaneous streams to YouTube, Ustream, and Justin.tv. I need to get the livestream.com set up back up, but so it requires a lot of bandwidth. I found out this past week that 1 gigabit per second internet is available in my hometown, and it stops less than 1,000 feet from my house.
Yeah. How much does that cost?
I would pay it. I don't care. If I could get 100 megabit that's symmetrical up and down, I would do it. I get 100 down, but only 5 up, and it's just not enough. I could care less about how much download bandwidth I get. As long as it's like 50 or 30, I would be good. Fiber. I want fiber. So sad news. Sharticon is canceled, and it's being retired.
It's dried up.
I hate that so much. So I'm not privy. I know the organizers not well, but I know them, and I'm not privy to any information. So this is just conjecture on my part. So when I say this, so I'm not speaking for the guys, I'm not speaking for any of that. But my best guess is the guys who run Sharticon are smart. If Sharticon 2013 was an incredibly well-managed convention, it was tight, it was timely, everything they promised was there. They had great guests, they had, whatever. And the people that ran it are also business savvy. So I'm certain the convention made money. But I also know that they're not, I would assume that they also don't want to go into any kind of major debt to put together a convention, because you easily could. So they created the Sharticon Army, which was sort of a club that you could join to help basically fund the convention. They weren't able to get up enough of the subscribers to that to get up the capital, so it looks the Sharticon Club. I called it the Army, the Sharticon Club. They weren't able to get up enough capital to start it, so the convention has been canceled, and so are the exclusives, which were planned. I hate that. I really love
Did we know
Sharticon.
what the exclusives were?
Let's see here. It was something by Get Right Robot. Eros, yeah.
Cybertron molded Bumblebee, basically.
I wanted that too.
I seriously love Sharticon. It was as well managed as any BotCon I've been to.
That was the first convention I went to, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. They did a great job running everything.
It was bigger than the first BotCon I went to by a good measure. Yeah, it was a great convention. It didn't have all of the sizzle of a BotCon. Hasbro wasn't there. They didn't have the big elaborate displays that Hasbro has started to do over the last 5 or 10 years. But as far as an experience goes, and actually convening with other fans and actually meeting new people and talking about Transformers, it was so awesome. I really hate this news, but I entirely understand it. It's just really sad.
It just tells you how hard it is to do one.
It is incredibly hard.
Even a small one. It's just really hard.
I would do a crappy one.
I'm telling you, it's going to be the RFC Con.
Radio Free Cybertron.
Yes.
We've been over this.
I would totally do that if I thought I could get more than 30 people to go. But
And your wife wouldn't divorce you.
Yes. How many people went to the first BotCon, Don? Was it like 40 or 50?
It was 100 and...
Oh, I could get that.
Well, no, it was 104 because the BotCon breakdown in 2004 was made to have the exact same number of people that came to the first BotCon. So it was 104.
I could probably get 104 people to go to a convention.
Yeah.
Let's do it. No.
Okay.
No. So my cousin, we actually went to this one year and did a live stream. But my cousin puts on a convention every year. She does it on a shoestring, and she doesn't have to pay. She does it at the local library, but it's always fun. She does a great job putting it together, and she does it on the cheap. It's night and day different than the kind of a convention that that's on the level of a TFCon or a Sharticon. Man, I would love to do something like that, but it's never going to happen. Better people have tried and decided not to than me. But I will be seeing most of you guys, all of you guys, at TFCon. Maybe John.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best part about any convention is getting together and seeing your friends. That and Hasbro panel.
Which won't be at.
That's true.
Okay, so you get one.
I get one. I'll take that. So I don't think it's going to happen, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but on a Facebook group, some people that we know, or some of us know, we're joking at the concept of putting together an Iacon 2. Did you go to Iacon 1, John? That was Phil's convention that he did in...
No.
I think it was in Indiana. Yeah, I didn't go to that.
I've been a BotCon guy, whatever it's called, basically, pretty consistently.
Yeah. Yeah. If that was something like that was put together, I would go. I hate that there's not going to be. I hate that there's not going to be a Sharticon. I hate that there's not going to be a SavCon. I hate that there's not going to be the con that Ken was putting together. That was the Keith was putting together. That was the what was it called? Diecast.
It was OmegaCon,
yeah.
And apparently someone was upset about that name, and he might have had to change it. And there was a whole bunch of things going on. So
yeah. But yeah. I guess we'll be seeing you guys at TFCon and at BotCon.
The only con
like
that's
TFCon has picked up steam.
John, are you gonna make it to BotCon next year if it's on the East Coast?
He'll make it to BotCon
yeah.
no matter where it's at.
You're darn right. I have to at this point. Like, I don't know. I can't break this streak. It's like Don and I are like obligated. We're like trapped, man.
Have you missed it? What was the last year that you missed, John, or have you missed a year?
The only year I missed since I started going, I think '99, is for some reason I didn't go in '07, which was the biggest BotCon ever.
At that point.
the most significant one.
Oh, that's why I felt like you haven't. So the last time I saw you was 06. You weren't at 07, and I wasn't at 08 or 09. So that's why it seemed like you sort of fell off the map, or we fell off the map with each other.
Yeah, until what? When was the year it was in Dallas? And you and JD.
That was that was the Yeah, that was 2012. But we got together again at 2010 in Orlando.
And
I didn't go to 2011. I didn't go to 2011.
Stunticon.
In Stunticon, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so John,
Whoa,
write me a check right now. It's I need it for about $13,000, and write it to eBay. And
I thought you said 10.
And
well, it went up.
The memo is what? G2 Stunticons. It's like I think with let's see how much is this going for now?
12,000. I just looked 12,100. I think I just looked.
It's going to go for more than that.
Oh
Yeah.
my!
Still got
how much
what,
time?
like 5 days
5
left?
days.
5 days left. Yeah.
Oh.
They found a transformer I won't buy.
Yeah.
I would love
want
to have this.
Because you can't buy it.
Yeah.
I want this so bad.
Yeah.
We all want
It's lovely.
I want this to get knocked off. Can someone do a knockoff of this, please?
There is a knockoff of most of the Stunticons floating around. They just need to be painted in this color. I would actually get the Fans Project version if they did it in this color.
No doubt.
I would totally buy that. I would totally get that. But it's $12,100. So basically, what happened? A former Kenner employee. Kenner, of course, used to be a sub brand at Hasbro. I guess Kenner. Again, I guess at one point Kenner was actually a separate company that Hasbro absorbed.
They were.
Yeah.
They're most notably known for Mask.
Yeah.
I loved Mask.
But Hasbro ended up buying them up and Gloob and some other companies. But so a former Kenner employee, I believe, is putting these up for auction. I think it's going to a charity. So there's lots of stuff that's going to be posted that has never been released, has never been seen. And this G2 Stunticon set is pretty amazing. It includes Motor Master, who he has a sticker. So apparently that's actually never been seen outside of packaging before. So that's pretty amazing. And they have more stuff too. Let me go ahead and pull some of that stuff up. I saw a Laser Cycle Jazz, which I had no idea that was even a thing.
Laser Cycle Jazz. Huh. That's pretty weird.
Yeah, that was supposed to be along with the Auto Roller reissues of Hound and Optimus Prime that we never got.
Yeah, so here's Jazz.
Because that was about the same. That was shown at 94 with the GoBot racing rig and a few other things, and the Megatron ATV bomber that we did not get, at least as Megatron and Starscream.
So ATV Megatron supposedly actually hit retail, and like 5 people got it. Has that been confirmed?
I've heard that for years, Brian, but I was told that it never actually, it was never supposed to be released. If any got out, it was just a fluke. But the only box samples were supposed to be at Hasbro, and that's why they used that design for the Korean release or the Japanese release for Beast Wars Tour Neo.
Mm-hmm. There's also a G2 breakdown currently posted, separate, that's carded, that was also, of course, used for the BotCon 94 exclusive.
Yeah, I did not know those because I'm looking at mine right now and it's like,
wow.
Wow.
900. What's it going for now? Like $900?
Yeah.
And it's got 21 bids. Don, you could use $900.
$1,000.
I would sell that
City
so
toy.
quick.
Yeah, but that's the only one I have.
Of course, it's the only one you have.
I mean, well, if JD was here, he would be shocked that I didn't have 4 at one point.
It's true.
Just sell it.
No, I can't. That's my first BotCon figure, and it's my only G2 Stunticon. So, if I've got rent or be on the street, yeah. But I mean, he's fine where he is for now.
Think of how many Dinobots you can get with that.
Yeah, but I won't have any more Stunticon.
You have the Fans Project.
How many more? Okay, G2 Stunticons. The G2 is an important modifier diecast.
It's pretty amazing.
What about the one from the G2 set?
That doesn't count. Let's see here. So
it's a G2 breakdown.
It is a G2 breakdown. To go with my G2 Sideswipe that I've got. So there's also let's see here, other things as well. Auto Jetter and Auto Roller unreleased. Other exclusive stuff from Power of the Force. A RoboCop figure.
He had some Star Wars stuff too.
Powers of the Force, yeah. That was the Powers of the Force was the Star Wars line and one of the Star Wars lines in the 90s. Nerf stuff.
Yeah, I like that Auto Jetter in those colors.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird looking, but I like it.
And wow, look at this! It's a Transformers Dark of the Moon Robo Power Energon Shock Sword Autobot New Sealed. That's pretty amazing. It's only $19.99. Buy it now.
Yeah.
We didn't get any roleplay toys with Age of Extinction, did we?
Actually, we do.
We do?
We have, there's an Optimus Prime sword that you can buy the extra face mask, and you can be Knight Optimus. I
haven't seen that.
I've only seen it at Target so far, but I didn't see a Target exclusive on it, so...
Well, there you go.
That could be like a Wave 2 figure. A second wave of movie stuff.
So, let's see here, moving ahead. So, last week on the show, and if you didn't listen to last week's show, go back and listen to it, because we had a great interview with Boss Fight Studios in respect to their Vitruvian Hacks Kickstarter and work that they did on Transformers and G.I. Joe. But right now, and again, we're recording this about 9 p.m. on July 2nd. With 9 days left to go, their Kickstarter is at $188,623, pledged of $75,000, which was their goal, so they have more than doubled it. They are doing smashingly well. Right.
I think the only one that I've seen do better than this is that one they did for that Mega Man. What was it, John? The creator of Mega Man was doing his own game. Or
that was that was Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
That should be out next year.
On that. Yeah.
So apparently, if you go in at the $500 level, if you want everything, just go in at the $500 level, because you will get every single item, and apparently right now every single Kickstarter, if you do them individually, is well over $500. So these are nice.
They said it breaks down to like $13 or $14 a figure, something like that.
So in the interview, I thought, so whenever I interview somebody, so this is my secret, I try to get some cursory information, but I like the discovery piece to like being in the actual discussion, so it's not stilted. But last week I probably should have done a little more studying, because I thought these were 6-inch figures. They're 3 3/4 inch or 4 inch. The level of detail in these things are ridiculous for that size figure. They look so good. I can't wait to get mine.
Well, it's like you said before, Brian. When you're not quite so worried about paint budget and part count for down to the last penny, you have a little more flexibility in working with your figures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so nice, so nice. I really love that. So good luck to those guys. I'm certain they will triple their original goal. So this popped up after the show last week. We didn't get to talk about it, but I showed the thing off on Facebook. We have a new exclusive from San Diego Comic-Con, and it's the Creon 30-pack Class of 1984 box set.
Oh, no, we did talk about this last week.
We did talk about this last week.
Yeah.
Let's see here. No, we didn't. I don't think.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think so. Did we?
Awesome. Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
You're outnumbered.
Yeah.
I'm positive.
Yeah, we did. Darn it. Well, it's awesome.
It's still awesome, yeah.
I'm going to show it again.
It deserves to be talked about again, yeah.
I'm going to show this thing again.
Hopefully I can get it when it goes on Hasbro Toy Shop.
Here it is. It's great. No, what happened is I copy, the guys here know, I copy and paste the show notes and start over. I kind of left it in because I thought we didn't talk about it, but it was the week before that it popped up after. So, making sausage here on the show. It's really nice, and again, I really want this. This will be the SDCC exclusive that I get.
If you can get it.
Yeah. If I can get it. But I tend to have good luck with those. Actually, let's see here.
I kind of hope it doesn't sell out at the show. That way they have more to sell. Or maybe it's easy to produce and they make a whole bunch of them.
Well, they're Creons. Of course it's easy to produce.
Yeah. I'm hoping that maybe I can snag that Dinobot set, but that's just so far in the realm of...
Dinobot set looks nice, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I don't know that I can pay that much.
I can't justify that much for a cardboard box.
Well, I'd probably just sell the diorama to somebody else and just keep the figures.
I'd rather have the diorama than the figures.
Yeah, me too. But I would rather have the diorama in plastic.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yep.
And everyone was like, it would be expensive.
It would be expensive. No, it would be expensive.
It would totally be expensive.
I'd pay it.
I want it that way. So we're on August 5th. We are getting Transformers Cybertron on DVD.
Yay.
I'm almost tempted by this.
That's Cybertron is of the three, it's the best.
What is that saying?
It's of the three. Sadly, I've watched pretty much all of Armada. I stopped halfway through Energon, and I really didn't give Cybertron a fair shake. But I still don't know that I'm going to. I don't feel like an emptiness for not being entirely conversant on the Unicron trilogy as far as animation goes. Love the toys. Could really care less about the cartoon.
Well, for me, up until Jack, Miko, and Raph, Kobe, Lori, and Bud were some of the strongest human characters we had in a series.
But now we have Cade Yeager. Wait, he's not in a series. Okay, sorry.
Oh, he's canon.
No movie.
No movie. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Don. But I'm a Chip Chase fan. I will be until the day that I die.
Well, maybe there'll be a new Chip, and Chip will be in the new cartoon in some fashion, as the new human. The new human.
I would like that. I would actually kind of like that, but that's probably not going to happen. So apparently, has this been confirmed? So we have a photo, but I don't know that the photo is legit. Apparently, MP08X Grimlock is going to include a throne accessory. I haven't seen anything to say that this isn't the case. So I guess this is an actual legitimate accessory.
Can we get a third party to make this? I mean, I know there's a third party doing a Megatron throne for Hegemon. Can we get a third party to make us one of these?
I'm certain that wouldn't be a big deal. You could probably take a piece of styrofoam or foam rubber and cut it, spray paint it, and there you go. No, seriously. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. So, So basically, of course, this was the King Grimlock. This version was the King Grimlock comic version, where of course Grimlock was a little bit crazy, and he basically proclaimed himself king of the Autobots, and he wore a crown. I love Budiansky so much. I would die for Budiansky. So, but yeah. So basically, this is an homage or a reference to that. So
well, instead of the throne, they should have made that torture device he was going to strap everybody into. Then you could torture your Transformers.
That would be pretty great. If I wanted to torture my Transformers, I'd make them watch. Never mind. So let's go ahead and move ahead. Move ahead.
Oh,
no movie.
I'll give you a plug to finish that off.
Yeah, so let's see here. So I thought this was interesting. So no spoilers in this story, but it is a Transformers 4 spoiler. And I haven't, I should probably check Google News. But so the controversy was Transformers 4 broke the $100 million barrier, the first movie to do so this year. It's been a down year for movies. As of this moment, domestically in the United States, highest grossing movie has been Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and it's awesome. But Transformers 4, I think they were guessing, was going to make something in the order of 106 million. But it was released at $100 $6.38 million. Though some industry analysts or industry insiders said basically that that's BS, because if you have to guesstimate Sunday sales, because they released this number on Sunday before the movie's actually done for the weekend. It's actually still playing. People are still buying tickets. So they said the real number is more like 97 million. Now that seems like a sort of silly, point of contention. But hear me out. So Transformers 4 is Paramount's big movie at this point. It's the first real summer blockbuster. In a down year, nothing's hit $100 million. All the other Transformers movies, over $100 million first weekend. But the Transformers movies after Revenge of the Fallen, which means Dark of the Moon and this, have, made less money successively on their opening weekend. So if it made less than $100 million, that might be seen as a disappointment. It really would be a disappointment. So the thought is Paramount may be saving face by saying it made $100 million. So does anybody care?
I mean,
I don't.
When you get to be that much money, and that's just your domestic release, and you still have all this focus on especially China and the rest of the world, it's like you really can't even. It's like, yes, it didn't make as much as X. It's the first weekend. You have all the rest of the world where it hasn't opened up yet. Stop bashing it and just let it run.
But movies, companies like Paramount, Sony, all these, movie studios and distribution studios, they make their money when movies do well. If a movie, it's a down year for movies anyway.
But they have all that footage in the movie of China, and I don't think it's opened there yet.
It's already opened there first.
I'm sorry.
So it made $300 million globally, $302 million, but it seems like they potentially fudged their numbers domestically. It's potential. It's possible. We really won't know for sure until after the books are released. I guess Paramount has to be a publicly traded company, so eventually we'll find out actually what it made. Probably the case because they said it is, but if they fudge their numbers just to save face, which would be the reason, which would be why they did it. It would be entirely to save face. That's pretty pathetic. If that's what they did.
I think there's another reason to do it, and the reason to do it is to say, hey, everyone that didn't see this movie yet, look how much money it made. So
it's still lying. Lying is 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 lying.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still lying.
Absolutely.
Diecast, 100,000 people listen to this podcast every freaking day. Why aren't you listening to this podcast? You hopefully are. I mean, but it's a lie. It's not true. We have lots of listeners. No, we don't. We have lots of listeners, but we don't have 100,000 a day. I mean, so I think that, I don't know, there's just something fishy about this. If it's true and they fudge the numbers, that really sucks. And it's really pathetic. But if they didn't,
doesn't matter.
If they didn't, whoever, raised this is pretty petty. But the fact that it's been raised,
especially being that close, because I'm sure even if it didn't quite break the 100 million, I'm sure it's still the highest grossing opening weekend of the year so far.
Yeah, it is. But there's something about that round 100 million number. Here in the Western world, we like round numbers like that. So,
well, I mean, and also they never count the other expenses. So it may have had $100 million marketing budget.
It's gross. It's not. It's gross. It's not net.
And they did have some Thursday showings too.
Yeah, but I mean, the movie
counts
costs
that.
$100 million. The marketing costs $100
No,
million.
actually, no, it doesn't count. It doesn't count Thursday.
Oh, Thursday doesn't count?
Mm-mm. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's when I saw it. I saw it Thursday.
Yeah, me too. And then I saw it again Sunday.
You saw it twice?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Paladin's seen it 3 times.
I bet.
No, he said he's saw it 3 times.
Was he not feeling well?
I don't know. He just mentioned it, and
did he fall asleep and just sleep through 2 other showings?
He's in the chat. We can ask him.
But back to my point. If they lied, it's a lie and it's bad, and they shouldn't do that, and it's pretty pathetic. But conversely, if the fact that this was raised as a concern, if it turns out that it's a false accusation, it's pretty petty on the part of whoever did it. The fact that it's out there, though, that this is up for debate, that it's a matter of contention, means that sort of. I feel that we should talk about it and we should raise awareness, but ultimately, it doesn't impact anyone other than Paramount.
Right.
But the movie made a lot of money, and it will continue.
They didn't even have any pre-screenings for it that I'm aware of.
No, I mean, there's always some pre-screenings, even if they don't have, even if there's not a reviewer screening. Whenever the movie theater actually gets those in, they'll typically do a private screening for their employees and such. At least that's been my experience from knowing people that work at movie theaters. But I didn't. I have ends on those sort of things, and I didn't see a early screening for it. But I do. I am going to go see Let's Be Cops here in a couple weeks. Get to see that. Oh God. Okay. So, but yeah, if it made $100 million, great. If it didn't, great. But it made $302 million internationally. That's pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. I just thought that was interesting. So, we got new images of Roadbuster and Sky-Byte. And apparently, I didn't realize this at the time, but those are actually shipping to stores right now.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have to search.
Did you pre-order them
I
or anything?
need that
I did.
Roadbuster.
I pre-ordered them at Big Bad Toy Store, but if I see them at the store, I'll pick them up at the store before I let Big.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never know with Big Bad Toy Store. Sometimes they get them before the stores, and then sometimes they're in the stores like a couple weeks before they get them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a crapshoot sometimes. I mean, in general, he's nice looking.
He does look nice. I'm very happy that I picked up Revolver myself.
I got a problem solver, and its name is Revolver.
Well, I'm a sucker for Power Core, for Power Masters and such like that. So it's like Roadbuster as a Power Master. So that's kind of a win-win for me there. But that
this is $20. That's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that Roadbuster does look. He looks good with Whirl too. So that'll be a nice pair on the shelf.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it. And Sky-Byte. So if I feel like I've got like tons of Sky-Bytes, even though I've got 2. This is the 3rd.
Yes.
So, but I'll have all 3 Sky-Bytes ever. So.
So you're a completist.
I love Sky-Byte.
Sky-Byte's a great character.
Have you got BotCon Sky-Byte?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sure do. Loves it.
I like him. At least, I don't like that this one is symmetrical, but it's gonna.
Oh, don't tell me that. Oh crap! You're right. It is.
Sorry.
No, it's not perfectly symmetrical though. It's way more symmetrical though than Sky-Byte is.
Mm-hmm.
But that means
this
be a
one's
peanut.
also huge, like massive.
He's Voyager size.
Yeah.
Original Sky-Byte was what?
Like,
Ultra?
He's like old school Voyager
Mega.
size.
Mega. He was a Mega. Yeah,
He
the
was a
$15
Mega,
size. He was a repaint of Transmetal 2 Cyber Shark. He was a Mega. God, I forgot the Mega class existed.
The only thing weird is that teal blue. I guess Hasbro must have tons of Allspark blue paint still hanging around, and they just use it wherever they can just to get rid of it.
It's what I would do. That's what I would do. Let's see here. What else do we have? I'm gonna skip.
Sky-Byte needs to come with a package of the fish test from RID. Just
Yeah, that's my favorite episode. I'm a halibut. Let's see here. What else? I'm gonna skip these. I'll post those to Facebook later. So I thought this was already out. So apparently, an official site for the Sega Human Alliance game has been launched. There's a trailer as well. I thought that game was already out. The Human Alliance arcade game for Japan. Anyone else remember that?
I thought that was with the I felt like that was with the third movie.
Yeah, I thought this
Oh,
was
well.
already out.
Huh.
But yeah, so basically it's a game where you play as characters from the first 3 Transformers movies. And it's a Human Alliance game, so there you go.
That's really all there is to it. Hey, you know what had more characterization than the first 3 movies for the robots? Transformers: The Ride at Universal Studios.
Transformers: The Ride is a much better movie than any of the movies. It really
was
is.
great. It was fun.
And it's a lot shorter.
So, without spoiling, my last viewing, I because I wanted to be able to comment on it, I went to go see Age of Extinction the second time on in IMAX, and I sat in the 3rd row, to where it's disorienting, and then it basically you realize that you're actually part of the movie, which in that respect it's pretty awesome, but still it reminded me a lot of the ride, and it kind of disappointed me because I enjoyed the ride so much more.
Yes. I actually came away from the ride really liking Devastator for some reason. Spoilers, he's in the ride.
He is in the ride.
But
God, I've
quite a
never
bit.
seen the ride yet. I'm going in November, and now you just ruined it for me.
Quite a bit. Anyway, his nuts are not.
Yeah.
Sorry. Second spoiler.
How long did you have to wait in line to play it?
You mean to ride the ride?
To ride the ride. So sorry, yeah.
We got in line before they closed the park for BotCon attendees, so we waited probably an hour.
Okay. I just want to point
It
out
wasn't
again.
terrible.
I want to point out again. I want to point out again that Rob and I had no wait at all.
Yeah, I didn't either because I went in the single rider. Actually, myself and Brian Savage rode in the same evac car.
Oh, cool.
And,
Awesome.
We were both riding alone, and we were basically fillers on if there was odd numbers on the other car, so we just got right in, and 5 minutes later we're on the ride.
I don't know why we didn't do that with our group. That's typically Ouija logic.
Yeah.
That we could have just gone in 5 minutes, but we had to stick together.
Yeah. So yeah, Human Alliance. I think I'd rather play some more Transformers Mystery of Convoy on my Retron 5.
Bragging.
Dun dun dun.
You know, Retron 5 sounds like an 80s cartoon I should remember.
I know. I really hate that I don't have a Famicom disk system though, because I would like to have an actual physical copy of. A physical copy of Headmasters that I could play. Headmasters, and I'd forgotten this until I watched some YouTube videos this week. It's not one-hit kill. I'd forgotten that. Of course, that's the part that sucks so bad about Mystery of Convoy. Okay, let's jump to third-party news. So,
Wait, I got something before we jump to third-party news.
what?
If you want the Age of Extinction, you can already pre-order the movie and get the steelbook. Best Buy actually has the steelbook for pre-order for $25.
When do you get it?
Whenever it releases. Right now, the release date of the DVD is not set, so they put it as December 31st. But it will be, whenever they decide that it's going to release on DVD.
You know, we're getting dangerously close to Spaceballs here, where we're going to be getting the movies in stores before they're even finished. I mean, we're selling a movie that just released in theaters. We're pre-selling it already. Heck,
Instant video.
The week Frozen came out, I could have gone at my Walmart and bought a pre-order for the DVD. Less than a week after I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I never seen the pre-order that quick, actually. I was shocked.
And they've started doing that. So, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 had a ridiculously early pre-order. I think that's a very recent thing. Massey!
Wow.
Massey, no!
That's great.
Where did he scratch? What is he doing, Don?
He's jumping up trying to get my arm. What is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with him. That's
Everybody's favorite part of the show.
That's a good kitty.
So I would tell you that I close my door so that the cat can't get in, but that would, cost us lots of entertainment. Okay, third-party news. So, Generations Road... yeah, so... What is...
What?
Yeah, hold up.
What?
Yeah, that's the... Never mind. I thought that was the not Roadbuster. So, excuse me. Ignore that. I copied and pasted that to the wrong block of news. So, Dr. Wu, DW P21 Rambo upgrade kit to Masterpiece to Yanagerize,
Yes.
aka Derek Yaniger, the guy who did the designs for.
I just want the bandolier. I don't really want the. I just wanted the bandolier.
We all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I know. Well, you know, I said when it was announced, you know, I hope they do a. Because y'all ragged me on how awesome it was, and the first thing I pointed out was there was no bandolier, and I thought, but you've got to have the bandolier for G2 Sideswipe. It's just, you know, I just really didn't want the.
So in that episode of RFC, when this was unveiled back that JD hosted last year, when Rob and I were in Florida, we'd all guessed that this was you guys all guessed that this was going to be a sticker that Repro Labels was going to do, but here's an actual physical bandolier. So
We didn't say Dr. Wu would do this. I thought for sure we said Dr.
No,
Wu
no.
would
Yeah.
do this.
not specifically, because I listened to that episode like 3 times, pulling clips out of it.
I think we brought that up in the hangout though, because I'm pretty sure Dr. Wu was my guess.
But it looks so
I
nice.
like it. I want it.
I already pre-ordered it.
It comes with a huge flipping gun too.
Yeah. See, I kind of wish they could. You could buy the individual pieces and pay a little more than, you know, like. But probably just with economies of production, it wouldn't have worked out.
It's so purty. It's purty. I want it.
It's so Yaniger. It's
Yeah.
just.
I kind of want to get. I think I mentioned this. I kind of want to get the knockoff G2 Sideswipe that's out now, to use or to put the stickers on so that it's more toy accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be
I
kind of
agree.
that way you can have both.
Yeah, I love my G2 Sideswipe, my original toy, and I love that it's a thing. But this is really nice. I want this. I've gotta have it. Let's see here, and that's pretty much it though for the news.
Oh, Dr. Wu also has a Age of Extinction Prime sword.
Oh, okay, that's
That
cool.
looks pretty nice. I'll probably pick that up.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's like $19, so you know, it's good to throw in your POL or whatever you do.
Should I be doing POL?
If you've got multiple things coming in, it does save on shipping.
Yeah.
But I like getting stuff, you know, like when it gets there, so that I can like talk about it on the show.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to pay, like, if I'm buying something for, you know, $20, I don't want to pay $10 shipping for it, so.
Yeah, I use it a lot, but it does kind of suck waiting for your pile to arrive.
I don't want to say what I was going to say, so I'm going to just step back.
But the money you save on not paying shipping can be used for other shinies.
That I would have to wait for, that I don't have room for. Yeah,
Stop using logic.
it's the ultimate weapon. Okay, so guys, the guys that have Scoria, what do you think?
I like it. It's big, it's heavy, it's there are some people who've had some QC issues with him. I think actually they're already going to be sending out new shoulder pieces for it, because the arms on a lot of them will fall down really easy, like even just holding the gun that it comes with. So that'll probably be fun to try and replace those pieces.
That is so pretty.
My horn actually came loose in the packaging, and the screw was actually stripped out because the screw was in there too. And I'm like, oh, I can just, maybe they didn't attach it. I had to screw it back together, but no, it was stripped. So I actually dropped some hot glue. I dropped some crazy glue into the horn and put the screw in and kind of held it there. So I'm hoping that'll be good enough to hold it.
I would have used
so
hot
my
glue.
horn's- You would have used hot glue?
Because hot glue, you could scrape it off pretty easily if you had to.
I don't even have hot glue.
Oh. Yeah. Whenever I can use hot glue instead of greasy glue, I do.
Well, I've only transformed my Scoria one time.
I wouldn't transform it. It would stay in Triceratops mode.
And I didn't see any problems with it. I had the instructions are pretty clear. It's some of the better third-party instructions I've gotten. Probably that'd be the one thing I'd ask all third parties is please look at your instructions. We get enough of that from Hasbro as it is.
Yeah. So Diecast has a review. You can go. I've got it posted to our website. Just go to tfradio.net, and it will take you right to it. It's how much? What's the retail on it? What does it cost?
It retail. Well, the early prices were different, but I think right now it's $199.
Yeah, that's what I had to pay because by the time I got off the fence about him, all the cheaper pre-orders were already gone.
It's so pretty.
It is, and I've got their Knot Swoop and the Sever Knot Snarl already.
Are they doing a sludge?
Yes.
And are they the ones doing a Grimlock as well, or is he supposed to get? Or are these supposed to go in?
Rumored at the end, but
yeah, they're doing a Grimlock in scale because Scoria is a hair bit taller than MP10. If you use the platform shoes or not, but
I would just again leave it in Dino mode. That's the Dinobots to me. They stay in frickin' Dino mode all the time.
But then you can have a Grimlock Triptychon, which is really nice because the platform shoes go on his back, and it makes him look like Triptychon.
You know, I hadn't thought about that. That's kind of weird in a accurate way.
Grim, or I don't know what you would call him.
Triptylock. But I like him. He's nice. I'm happy. Yay.
The only other thing I was going to say is that on mine, the back legs, when I pegged them in, they were so tight. I had to do it off camera. And when I went to unpeg them, it actually pulled some of the metal pins out because they were stuck together so tight. But I'm hoping that won't, if I transform it again, that won't happen. Maybe
Did you ever try and sand down that peg?
I didn't try yet, no.
Sand down that peg.
But, we all have that problem every once in a while where, the hole's a little tight.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to my review of the Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. And after that, we'll jump to Q&A with Rob Springer. And after that, the five of us will be back to talk about Transformers 4 Age of Extinction, the greatest movie ever.
Yes.
You'll find out here in like 10 minutes.
When the universe presents you with an opportunity, you must never fail to capitalize on it.
For the love of... What in the... Half-completed bellows of frustration, sounds of anguish, and the repeated exclamation of, "I quit!" could be heard coming from my office all weekend. No, I didn't have an advanced screener of Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. I was playing Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark on Xbox 360.
This is our darkest hour. The Autobots are on the verge of defeat. A new golden age is upon us, Optimus. The age of the Decepticon. Autobots, we must prevent the Decepticons from getting the dark...
I really enjoy what I've played of the last two games in the War for Cybertron series. I worked my way through War for Cybertron, and I really enjoyed it. Fall of Cybertron, though, has unfortunately been brushed aside and pushed farther back in my queue, though, thanks to my late-acquired addiction to Skyrim. It's not Fall of Cybertron's fault. I mean, it's a darn fine game in its own right, and by reputation alone, it's the best Transformers video game of all time. But I've been hooked by Skyrim. Fall of Cybertron will be revisited and completed, I promise. When Rise of the Dark Spark was first unveiled at Toy Fair 2014, I had some concerns. I mean, it was, by all accounts, a Transformers movie game with the War for Cybertron universe tacked on. Rise of the Dark Spark has so far proven to be a disappointing entry in the War for Cybertron series. It's developed by Edge of Reality and not High Moon Studios, the developer of the previous two games in the series. High Moon's status seems to be a little unclear at the moment. Its website hasn't been updated in more than a year. They supposedly developed a Deadpool game, which was released sometime last year, and they are supposed to be developing a new Call of Duty game for the PS3 and Xbox 360, which should be released sometime this year. Unfortunately, the absence of High Moon Studios is to this game's detriment. Overall, the gameplay is nearly identical to the earlier games. There's no major innovation gameplay-wise with Rise of the Dark Spark. In the game, you play as characters from War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and the new movie, Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. Enemy encounters are tedious and frustrating. Obstacles must be passed by defeating enemies and performing mundane, unimaginative, and often frustrating tasks. Early in the game, for example, you play as War for Cybertron Soundwave, and you have to eject Rumble so that he can navigate his way through a conduit to disengage locks, which obstruct your way. Repeatedly, you have to eject him, wait, fight, reload him, walk to the next conduit, and eject him again. This happens multiple times in the course of the encounter. The whole game is full of these obstacles, and they're boring and tedious solutions. The graphics and sound are passable. I didn't expect a lot in that respect, and the game delivered. On Earth, textures can be flat and boring. Levels taking place on Cybertron bear the familiar look of previous games. The voice acting is lifeless and repetitive. Earlier games in the series felt alive. The voice acting in Rise of the Dark Spark is sort of dead and lifeless. It's more dark and less spark. The game is very much a movie tie-in, albeit with a different plotline. If you want to engross yourself in the next game in the War for Cybertron storyline, then you'll probably want to wait for the next game in the series. Rise of the Dark Spark has one goal, and that's to cross-merchandise. If you can't get enough Transformers video games, and you've played them all, that's including Transformers for the Famicom and Famicom Disk System, then you might want to pick up Rise of the Dark Spark. Be warned, it can be frustrating. There are some encounters in which you'll be attacked and you'll never see who did it, and you're hit 2 to 3 times and you're dead. But the game does include new Transformers fiction. If you're a certified Transformers nut like we are, maybe it's worth your time. If not, then I would skip. You might want to wait for the next War for Cybertron game, when and if that ever happens. Overall, we give Rise of the Dark Spark a 5 out of 10.
Radio Free Cybertron will return after these messages.
Light bright, turn on the magic of colored lights. Light bright, make a face to glow at night. Smiling friends, shining bright, make a sign to say goodnight.
Just pop in the colored pegs and follow the patterns. It's easy to make your favorite pictures and characters, or you can always create your own light pictures.
Light bright, turn on the magic of shining lights.
Light Bright from Milton Bradley.
You can hear our show on Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly from your iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, or Palm phones. On demand and on the go. Don't have Stitcher? Download it for free today at Stitcher.com or in the app stores. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Here she comes! Warlord's ready, powers on high. Just like those big boys, she's itching to fly. Yeah, she's looking for trouble! SST, muscle machines. They're big, bad, dirty, and mean. Those dual stick shifters make her really move. Big bad Warlord's got nothing to prove.
It's bad!
SST, muscle machines. They're big, bad, dirty, and mean. SST muscle machines Warlord. Other muscle machines sold separately. Batteries not included from Play School.
Radio Free Cybertron has teamed up with Kokomo Toys and Collectibles in Kokomo, Indiana. If you're in the Kokomo area, visit our store for a huge selection of new and classic toys. Visit online at www.kokomotoys.com for our address and store hours. While you're there, check out our listing of pre-order items, as well as visit our eBay store. Visit us at www.kokomotoys.com. That's KOKOMOTOYS.com. We're also on Facebook. We now return to Radio Free Cybertron.
You boys a bit bored? Snap into it! Snap into a Slim Jim!
Hey guys, it's Rob, and this week's question comes from Jinkies1982. Jinkies goes on to ask, "Hey Rob, I got a little problem. I really don't like the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Why do they keep making them if they're so bad? I mean, you would think they would learn by now that he shouldn't make any more. Thanks." Well, Jinkies, here's the thing. Those movies make a ton of money. Just a ton of money. And let's face it, when you see a big summer movie, they made it with intentions to make a lot of money. You know, if it's like, say, hell, you know, even Pain and Gain, Michael Bay's last little movie, or these independent movies, whatever, that major directors make, not, you know, newcomer directors or filmmakers, but major filmmakers, when they make these little independent movies in between big ones, those are movies that they make because they want to make it. When you see, you know, this, it's got toys attached to it and all that, or say Independence Day, or you know, name a big summer special effect, Cowboys versus Aliens. I mean, those movies are made so people sit there, eat popcorn, go wow, and just rake in the money. Because it's summertime, people are on vacation, kids are out of school, you know, it's hot, people want to get inside, go out, but they still want to get inside the air conditioning. You know, it's just a good time to put out, and this big lasers and fireworks movie make a just ton of money that they didn't make after Christmas because people were broke, you know, and it really clears them out. I mean, it's like, yeah, people, you know, I'm not talking about everybody, but a lot of people are broke for a few months after Christmas because they, you know, spend, you know, go overboard, and then they, you know, have taxes right after that, and you know, it's the whole winter time. Weather starts getting nice, all that, you know, things are straightening back out. First thing you want to go do is spend $50 at the movies on your family and buying popcorn and all that. But yeah, they go to these things, they spend a ton of money, and they make it. I mean, you stop and think about something. When you're in that movie theater, and it's packed, and it's like, there you are with your problems, your own history, your own story, and you're sitting next to whoever you came with, and they've got their own histories and stories and lives, and you're surrounded by theater, everyone's got their own history, stories, and lives, and you're like, wow, and there's millions of theaters around the world showing that same movie, filled that exact same with millions of people with all their stuff. That's a million people, billions of people went to go see this movie. Now, assuming the one or two kids that theater hopped, they all paid, what, $10, $12 to go see it. So you have these like $300, $400 million opening weekends, you know, and you have these like Dark of the Moon made over $1 billion. That's an amount of money that, while it's a real amount of money, is almost an imaginary, absurd amount of money, because it's almost unheard of for movies to make that much. That's why only so many do it. You know, this one here, Age of Extinction, made like a couple of million in its opening weekend, which was like record breaking. I mean, apparently a reporter on, I say a reporter, a blogger, with no credentials to be known of, had a problem with that and said they were lying. But really, shut up. You know, they report when movies flop. You know, they're like, that did disappointing this weekend. Let's hope it makes more next weekend. You know, I mean, they do it when it has a disappointing weekend. You know, so, you know, regardless of quality of movie or opinions of movie, they make a ton of money. And once again, this isn't like Sundance, you know. This is like, you know, big. I think DreamWorks, for the most part, makes big movies. I mean, I'm sure they have a few, like, and even their passion type project ones are like, this is the next Citizen Kane, guys. We're gonna make a ton of money off this. You know, those are big bank studios with big bank stars, make big bank. So they might say, yeah, these movies are crap. We made a crap ton of money. And that's how they look at it. And, you know, like Michael Bay, he's like, man, I'm making millions of dollars off this. I'm going to keep doing them. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to be an idiot to walk away from $1 million paycheck. You know? I mean, it's got to be like extremely horrible for you personally to walk away from it. And these movie companies are like, hey, this guy has made us a fortune 4 movies in a row. Unless we can't get him back, we're going to get him back. You know, that's just how they're thinking. And you know what? This last movie isn't perfect. None of these movies are perfect. They're big, mindless explosions fests, and you don't have to like them. In fact, if you don't like them, I mean, this is part 4. This is the 4th one. I can understand part 2. Hoping you get back. You know, I can understand, you know. But if you have after part 3, you couldn't stand them. Probably shouldn't even bother to watch part 4. I mean, maybe wait till it comes to video. You could Redbox it and then see for yourself. I mean, if you really wanted to see it and you're excited and all that, you're like, this movie's horrible. Why do I keep making them? I was like, well, you just paid. Everyone just went and paid. People get up and they say, wow, and they want to go see the spectacle. And that's what they did. And I'm not justifying the fact that they're not the greatest movies in the world. I'm not saying not the greatest because they're fun. They're fun movies to sit and watch. Eat your popcorn and go, wow, look at all that. You know, the plots are full of holes and sometimes pretty absurd. A bunch of dumb dialogue. You know, they are mostly just giant, big special effects things. And it kind of, as a fan, it bothers you because you're like, that's not why I like these things. I like them for their characters and who they are and everything. And they've reduced them to special effects and tons of explosions. So it upsets you as a fan, but yeah, remember, the rest of the people seem to be really digging it. So until those movies really start taking a dive bomb, you know, they're probably going to keep using them for a while. And the best thing you can do if you really don't like them is don't go pay to see them. I hate to say that, but you have to take a stand with your wallet because that's how these companies listen. And that's really it. You know, this last movie, you know, it was a big old messy movie that just kept falling apart at parts. You know, that's my opinion. I'm not gonna go into spoilers. Some people ain't seen it yet. But I will say they did improve some things. You know, the robots to me this time were more of a character this time than they were in the past movies. They were a big part of the movie. That was one of my biggest problems with the prior movies, is that they were just kind of background special effects. This time they're, you know, could they be better characters? Yeah, but they're right there the whole movie. You know, you can't. They improved one complaint I've had over the past couple of movies, and I appreciate that. Now, maybe if they could have edited that thing better together better or something, or you know, tighten up the other loose aspects. But I guess when it comes to these big explosions festivals, one can be only so picky. So I hope that answered your questions, Chinkies. I guess the short version is they're going to keep using them until they stop making a ton of money. And, you know, Michael Bay is a middle-aged man. He's not going to do a Shia LaBeouf and say, hey, I've got a sure thing. I'm just going to walk away because I'm the hottest thing in the world and then lose all my, you know, the only thing I got going for me. He's not like that kid. That kid, he really shot himself in the foot. And then, of course, it's like a giant jackass, ruining his complete public image, you know. And while, you know, Michael Bay's like, no, I'm going to make this money. And, you know, everyone wants to call me an idiot, but you got to say, hey, you're smart not to walk away from $1 million paycheck. You know, it takes an idiot. It has to be really offending. You know, you have to be really hurting yourself in some way to do that. And let's face it, he's always been known for making a guy who makes giant explosion movies. So, thanks for your question, Jinkies. And please keep sending your questions my way, rob@tfradio.net. Or, you know, you can just check out tfradio.net for shows and showtimes and all of our different social media and crap. There's ways to send me messages there. So you can send me questions any way you want, and I'll take them. You can check out my blog, roborobspringer.tumblr.com, and there's a way to send me a question there. Just maybe specify it's for the show so I don't answer it there and forget about it. Thanks a lot, guys, and keep watching. Or keep sending questions. I don't know. Whatever. Later.
I'm running away from home. My parents are mean. Where'll you go? I'm not sure, but I'll show them.
That's right. You'll show them how mean you can be.
Bumblebee!
Isn't it better to try to solve problems instead of running away from them?
Maybe I could try talking to my parents again.
Yeah, tell them how you feel. And remember, running away
leads nowhere. Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
The Transformers!
Transformers 4.
It's a breakfast cereal.
Age of Extinction. If you don't want to be spoiled, stop now. Because we're going to talk about it for the rest of the show. Just come back next week. Yeah. Or pause now, go see the movie, and then come back and listen and or watch.
It'll be the pause that refreshes.
We'll give you a second. So, how's the weather where you guys are at?
Stormy.
Hot?
Hot.
It's hot as hell here.
Hot and humid.
How's Dallas, John?
It's hot as balls.
So
number 2.
So I'm gonna probably have to edit this too. I don't really want to get too graphic, but like, I didn't realize that I needed different deodorant when I went to Texas. I had to buy different. I had to buy different deodorant. But you know what?
Did you?
Yes, I did. But you know what?
Okay.
I wore deodorant. That's better than like 2/3 of some of the other people at BotCon.
Well, as the guy that hosted you, I really appreciate that.
You're so awesome. You and Jamie
You're
are my
welcome
heroes.
to stay again when they inevitably have it in Dallas.
I can't wait. That was fun. That was really fun. That was awesome. Okay, so Transformers 4: Age of Extinction. So if you want to know what happens and you haven't watched it, I have a review. It was on last week. I tried not to spoil too much, but you should totally go back and listen to that and or read it. But also, IO9 has posted, basically, it feels like exactly what I would have written if I had gone through and discussed the movie scene by scene. It's the spoiler FAQ, and it's glorious. So I guess I just want to throw this out there. The movie's bad.
No.
The movie's bad.
I disagree.
Well, Brian, I think the movie's worse than that. It's blah.
Yes, so that's the thing.
I mean, a bad movie, you can find some good things to walk away that you're glad you saw, or at least more than one. This is just, it's like plain oatmeal. No sugar, no raisins, no nothing. Just plain oatmeal.
Yeah.
I'm glad I saw someone actually pretty much get vaporized. That was pretty interesting.
Which one was that? I don't remember vaporized.
Dark of the Moon, people were vaporized when they were in Chicago.
When the guy was running,
that wasn't vaporized. He was transformed. He was transformed into another.
He was transformed.
He was hit with the Pompeii bomb.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. Like, so basically, let me just get this point out there. It's a bad movie. It's a Michael Bay movie. So what do you expect? It's not high art. It's not deep. It's not thoughtful. It's not creative. It's not imaginative. It's not lovingly crafted. It's crap. But that's what you should know going in. Exactly what Don said. It's the biggest thing wrong with the whole movie is it's boring.
I didn't think it was boring. I didn't even feel like it was as long as everyone said it was. Like, I sat down, I enjoyed pretty much the whole thing, and knocking Transformers over here. I'm so excited. And towards the end, I mean, then it was over, and I was like, there were parts that I didn't like, or that I thought they could have done better, but overall I enjoyed the movie.
So, Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, is on a technical level the worst Transformers movie. It is.
What do you mean by that? Like, just like plot, continuity,
flow. I mean, the fact that Michael Bay wrote most of it because of the writer's strike.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a writer's strike. It doesn't make sense logically. It's terrible. So there are fewer. So my big problem with Revenge of the Fallen is that it just doesn't make any sense because things don't logically flow from A to B to C to D. It goes from like A to Q to R to L to D to F to G. It just doesn't. It's odd. Age of Extinction is a lot better in that respect. But Revenge of the Fallen is so bad. It transcends bad, and it's actually a joy. It's a joy to talk to friends about the movie and how bad it is. This movie doesn't have that. It's just the special effects are amazing, but unimaginative. There's no scene in this. It's like, wow, I can't believe I saw that. That was worth the price of admission. Not one.
Exactly. That's
Dark of the Moon. Yeah, Dark of the Moon had Chicago. That stuff was awesome. Movie sucked, but that stuff was awesome. This had nothing. It had nothing.
I didn't like Chicago at all.
You didn't? I thought it was amazing.
No, it was that whole fight was like literally an hour long.
I know.
I didn't like it. I didn't like Shockwave. I didn't like a lot of stuff in that. I didn't like the space worm that he was riding.
I thought the space worm was pretty amazing.
I just didn't get it. I mean,
oh,
like,
you're not supposed to get it.
Well, but I mean, like, I guess, like with him, like with that, like, why wasn't that like Devastator 2, or like, why wasn't that like a discernible robot?
I don't know.
The money to make that, make it a robot.
Just say it was an homage to Dweller in the Depths, and you'll be happy.
There you go.
That's the kind of attitude I have with this movie. Like, I just like let a lot of stuff go, and I just kind of went with it.
There are things I really liked about this movie, believe it or not. I really liked the fact that the Autobots distinctively they were each distinct from one another instead of generic. You know, you can only have so many boring looking, Ironhides and Ratchets. Speaking of Ratchet, I thought it was disgusting what happened to him in the movie, but it's basically a snuff film in that respect, but these are not movies for children or for people who love Transformers. These are for people who hate themselves.
That was kind of the point of that scene.
I'm kidding.
Wasn't that scene supposed to like make you upset though?
Yeah, it was. And I'm kidding about the people who hate themselves. I'm being an ass. But basically, I really like the fact that Crosshairs is distinctive. He's an ass. He's a jerk. He has no soul. But he's distinctive from Hound. He's distinctive from Drift and Bumblebee and Optimus, etc., etc., etc. I really like that.
That was the one thing that bothered me. I didn't like...
They're not generic enough! My God, they're not generic enough. Okay,
I did not like Crosshairs. I didn't understand when him...
You didn't understand? Go ahead. We lose Diecast?
He's frozen.
You there?
Yeah, he got so upset.
Yeah. Skype is being a jerk. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I didn't understand when him and Bumblebee got into a fight.
Because he's an ass, and I'm not in a good way. There's little to separate the Autobots from the Decepticons in these movies.
Yeah, and then they did no backstory on Drift. Drift is a former Decepticon that, and these characters show up from nowhere. Where were you for the last 3
Is Drift
movies?
a former Decepticon in this?
He
is.
Yeah,
obviously, he is in the comic. Obviously, he is in the comic.
No, his toy bio.
Yeah, the movie. I mean. They make no hint at that, right, in the movie.
He's the most noble one of the Autobots in this, which is kind of funny.
Is he?
I think so.
And he's a triple changer.
Well, I don't know. Is he a triple changer, or did they just not show him scanning a car?
That's actually a really reasonable question, Don.
Wait, wasn't he a car?
He's a Bugatti.
And then he was a helicopter, and then he was a car again.
Oh, actually, yeah, he was.
He was a helicopter first because when it shows the Autobots responding to Optimus' signal of being alive, they're all driving to meet him in the desert. Drift is already, he's crawling down the mountain, Captain Kirk style.
Yeah.
And then he jumps off and assumes the helicopter.
This movie needed Gorns. Go ahead, sorry.
We're getting later on as a toy. Later, he is in his car mode, and I never saw him in the same instance where Prime and Bumblebee scanned for their new vehicle modes. I never saw Drift, unless it was a background thing that was a blink and you miss it. I never saw
Drift. No, but then Drift was a helicopter when they were in the building.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, they went back and forth.
He was a helicopter with the Bugatti plate or logo on his chest. Makes no sense.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, my only problem with the movie was that there were a couple scenes. I guess that was one, but there were two where they clearly cut scenes where robots should have transformed from one mode to another, Which I assume was some kind of budget thing. They were like, we ran out of money. We're not doing that.
And there was a lot of... You remember the scene in the 86 movie when Ironhide runs out of the command center and he transforms behind those structures? And when he comes out from behind the structures, he's folding down into car mode. So the entire transformation is lost behind objects or off screen. That's what these were. A lot of these were... They start... It pans off to the side, and you see all the parts coming together in vehicle mode, which was
or there's stuff like Optimus Prime and Lockdown, or like in a high-speed chase, and then the next thing you know, they're in robot mode on a building.
Yeah,
so,
that was.
It shows them. I think it shows them climbing
it's just
up.
a budget thing. I have to assume it's a budget thing. Yeah, but I mean, like they're like racing on open road. And then a second later, they're in robot mode.
Yeah, that's
like
a very...
But the thing is, so the way I take that, the movie isn't about the Transformers, it's about the humans. And we're following the humans and what happened to them, and the Transformers are just background. Even though the movie's called Transformers, it should just be called Their Human Friends and the Transformers. And that really, especially... that was early on in the film, early quotes, that really punctuates that whole thing for me. Because you had this really awesome chase scene and fight and everything going down, and then it just focuses on the humans. Yeah.
I felt we got a lot more robots in this one.
Well, it was 3 hours long, so...
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, like, I couldn't tell you one thing Ironhide ever did. In all
he
the
growled.
movies. He was in.
Died.
Yeah, but I mean, at least Hound was John Goodman yelling like inappropriate things, which I love.
That's the one thing that I took from this movie, at how much life John Goodman breathed into one of these characters and made him like he's the old war horse. He's gruff. He takes no BS, and he's going to go in and fight with everything he's got.
Oh, he was far and away the best character in the movie.
I would say
the
he's
only
probably
one
the
of
most,
the new characters I liked.
Yeah, and he's probably the most fleshed out of any of the Autobots in any of the movies.
He's the only character that I liked.
Wait, he's an actual character.
From what I hear, Optimus Prime was pretty murderous.
He's a homicidal maniac.
He always is.
Spoiler.
I'll kill him.
He also hates us.
No, we're in spoiler zone.
Yeah, Optimus kills a human.
He kills Attinger. The first thing he does is he threatens to kill Cade Yeager and his folks, and he smacks what's-his-face in the head. He could have killed him right there. He shot. He said, "I swore never to, to kill humans." But it shows him it shows him like shooting all those humans when Cade's barn's being attacked or his farm's being attacked. There's no way to know that his attacks weren't killing those people. He doesn't have like infinite control over every single projectile that he shoots out.
I mean, in all fairness, he was dead. I mean, they pretty much brought him back to life.
They gave him they charged his battery.
They charged his.
It was the return of Optimus Prime. He was like a zombie.
They're charging his laser.
Dark Awakening.
No, and they fixed some wires. There were some disconnected wires that they had to,
And when he woke up, he didn't know how much time had passed. So I can forgive that part in the barn, but Prime doesn't kill humans.
This one does.
He gets killed by them in comic books, issue 24, but he just vaporizes Frazier. Just, kills him right there.
But he was going to kill Yeager. So...
Well, but that's when he was sort of disoriented and just waking up and thinking he was still under attack.
No,
Attinger is going to kill Yeager.
Attinger was going to kill Yeager.
But Optimus already said that he was going to kill the person responsible. You should have also killed Savoy. And God, did I hate that guy.
The IT guy?
Yes, the Steve Jobs-esque character. The guy who was the evil scientist until Cade calls him up and said, "I know you care. You're an inventor too, so you're a good person." Hey, you're right. I am a good person. I'm going to go get the seed. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to keep it away from the Decepticons.
Well, he also realized that, it was basically going to, it's not going to make him any money. It's just going to end the human race. So,
I really liked that character too. I gotta say,
I hate it.
I've seen Bad Scientists. I've seen Prometheus, and this was not Prometheus. I
hated that guy.
So I appreciated him. He was way less offensive than I expected.
I will say, as far as the humans go, Kelsey Grammer's character was pretty good. I mean, you could believe he was doing what he was doing for a reason, but then it kind of
to make money. Yeah.
Well, but then the greed sort of took over. I understand that. Cade, his daughter,
we can talk about the Jaegers.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're more fleshed out than Sam, Michaela, and Sam's parents ever were.
Sam's parents are way better than any human character that appears in this movie.
Right, but it's just I can't see this Cade Yeager being a robotics guy. I just can't see this guy being a robotics expert or inventor.
There's I'm not worried.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
I'm okay with that. I can't accept his level of incompetence. So his stuff, he's like this down and out inventor, and it's like he finishes his equipment, like he completely does every single layer of polish. He gives them a shell, whatever, etc., etc. But he actually doesn't make the underlying technology work. That makes no sense. Like, it's just, obviously they do that extra level of polish so that it looks good on a movie, but thing is, no inventor would actually go in and design every single thing, every single, actuator, every single, component, and then, like, put the shell on it, design all that, and the look and the feel of what the robot, looks like, and not actually perfect the actual function of it.
I thought
like everything was like that.
Maybe you're trying to think too much.
Probably.
Because I thought it was believable. That didn't bother me at all, and maybe I'm just not inventive enough.
So so in my review, here's how I describe Cade. So, and this is pretty much what I think is wrong with the movie, because everything is just perfectly poised to. He's basically perfectly set up to be the hero of the Transformers movie. He is a down-and-out widower / inventor / fit but nerdy former high school jock turned single parent. Actually, former high school jock turned teen parent. Basically, he was set up to, 1, be able to fix Optimus, 2, fight, 3, in a future sequel, there's room for a romantic subplot.
Yep.
It's just so.
It's true.
It's contrived. Everything in this is contrived. Tessa's boyfriend Shane he's a rally car driver. I hated him so much. I hate him so much. I hated that character. Hated that character. Hated that character.
He was
hated
oddly
it.
cowardice.
Yes, he was. Go ahead, Don.
The thing of it is, one. How is his daughter a rally car navigator? She's not Kit Cloud.
She has the best hands in the business.
She's good with the stick.
Good with the stick, yeah. Oh my God.
How is she getting away from this overprotective father to be a rally car navigator?
Time dilation.
Girls sneak out.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring up what we talked about in the pre-show.
Mass shifting. Like, she's shifting her mass to a pocket universe.
Yes. And also the fact that he had a laminated card in his wallet as a ready defense.
Yes, I'm banging your daughter. That's what that's what he was saying.
Juliet, I don't know if this is even true or not.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying, having that in your wallet as a pre-made defense.
It's creepy. It's creepy. It's creepy. I understand it. I understand being a 20-year-old guy who has been dating the same girl since you both were teenagers and keeping that going. I see that all the time. But the way this was presented in movie form was just, it didn't make any sense why they even had to mention it.
It's like,
make him 17 too. He's got his driver's license. He's a race car driver. He's a natural talent.
Or make them both 19. Just something that just no.
It's just creepy.
Just
creepy. Creepy. But so, tell me where I'm wrong. What was my biggest problem with the movie? Like Don said, it's boring. What was the really awesome thing in this? What did you really like about it, Diecast? What did you love about this movie?
What did I love?
Or what did you like?
I liked when they went into the building to get Yeager back. That was
a pretty good scene.
That was a good scene. The end scene, I mean, that whole action sequence was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't know if we
lockdown ship.
Jump to that part. Yeah,
we're just bouncing around. That reminded me too much of Man of Steel.
I mean, the problem I had, and it's not really a problem because I liked the movie, is that the Autobots came way too late. They didn't even, or the Dinobots, I'm sorry. They didn't even call them Dinobots. They called them Legendaries. And they were basically just on the ship. Lockdown had already captured them. And I was a little confused because in the beginning of the movie, where you were talking about the whatever they were doing, where that bomb went off and it like turned everyfor metal
to transformium, which again is the name that the humans gave it. So I'll give that a pass.
I thought for sure that I saw a Dinobot looking figure in that transformium.
You did. So, we all did.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. So I thought they were going to go to
everybody thought that.
Transformium.
Everybody who saw it.
Dinobots,
everybody who saw it thought that. Everybody who saw it. No, but it doesn't make sense.
Except they just went on. Oh, they were on the ship. We just freed them. Yeah. Which also makes sense, but it's not as exciting.
So, a question. So we've all seen it except for Melvar, and I've seen it twice. So I asked this question of myself for the second viewing, and I can't explain it. So that scene at the end when the Autobots, after the Decepticons have been defeated, and Lockdown is pretty much, I think Lockdown's the only thing left. He may even have been defeated at that point. The Autobots hunker down on that bridge and are ready to stop whatever comes. There's nothing to come. The movie's basically over at that point. So what were they doing? I don't get that. So what I had to miss something.
I don't know.
There's nothing there.
About.
What?
Yeah, you know, they said to hold the line at the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. But there's nothing to hold the line against.
I must have missed that.
It's like, oh, I'm just gonna randomly stand here and say I'm gonna hold the line in my kitchen because my cat might want to get in the kitchen. Maybe.
I saw the IMAX version. Did
it was in both versions.
Is there something that got cut out?
No, it just made no sense. That seems like it was something that should have been earlier on in the movie that got placed into that location.
I don't know. In my head, the Optimus kills Lockdown, and then Prime says that the Dinobots are free to go, and they scurry off like little animals running away. Like, I'm getting out now.
Yeah, and the Dinobots was I mean, even if a movie is a setup for one or two movies after that, the movie itself should still stand on its own as a complete entity. Empire Strikes Back is a lot of people's favorite Star Wars movie. It's not my favorite. I prefer the first one. But Empire does set up a lot of threads for Jedi, but still stands alone as a solid movie on its own. This movie, it screams, this is setup. You'll see these again. This is setup. The creators that were mentioned for the first time out of 3 movies. Quintessons, Hasbro executives, who knows? So, I mean, the Dinobots were wasted. And even if they were a setup for the next movie, they still should have used them better with the time they had.
I get, as far as the Dinobots go, I get Optimus has to quote-unquote tame them. But basically Optimus tells Grimlock, or tells the Dinobots that they need to fight with him or stand against him. Then he just beats the hell out of Grimlock. Just beats him, like he made him.
Could kill him if he wanted to.
Yeah, I get the fact that the Dinobots are big and powerful, but if they're so awesome, I mean, I guess ultimately it's just strength in numbers. But if they're so great, how can Optimus Prime, who was getting his ass kicked earlier in the film by Lockdown, how was he able to just beat the hell out of Grimlock? He just beat him bad. It wasn't even close.
He broke his jaw.
Yeah. that just neutered Grimlock for me. I'm like, oh, well, screw that. I don't give a crap about Grimlock. I mean, so.
Maybe he's the weak one of all of the Dinobots.
Did they talk in the movie? Because there was a point on the bridge where I heard someone talk, and I was like, wait, was that one of the Dinobots? And that it was so quick, it was done, and I was like, I don't even know whose voice that was.
I don't remember hearing them specifically.
I don't. Now
so.
I'm wondering now if you go into Toys R Us when they have their Age of Extinction setup, they have a little motion sensor that has Grimlock transforming and him saying destroy. I'm wondering if that was in the movie where they got the sound clip for that, and then they edited it out for some reason out of the movie. I don't know. I'm just saying there is, because it sounds like what Grimlock would sound like, but it's nothing in the movie that I heard him speak at all.
So speaking of Grimlock, he's not Greg Berger, and Greg Berger was, I think, coy about whether or not he had a part in the movie, which I assumed meant, oh yeah, he's going to be in it.
That's what I thought.
So I guess it means that he wasn't. But even if he was Greg Berger and he said, me Grimlock, blah blah blah, that would have just been out of place, I guess. But I love Greg Berger's Grimlock. I really wish he had been, but it probably would have been odd. Also, speaking of voices, Galvatron, of course, is voiced by Frank Welker, but instead of using his G1 Galvatron voice, which would have, of course, stuck out, he used his Prime Megatron voice, which it's okay. It's kind of generic, but
it's Frank Welker.
It's Frank Welker. And he had like one line or two lines. He had a couple.
He had a few.
Yeah.
I did like that the Dinobots were munching metal. And they seem to enjoy it, and that did bring a smile to my face.
I wish I could say that the Dinobots brought a smile to my face.
So at what point in the movie did the Dinobots actually show up? How far into the movie?
9/10.
About 45 minutes before the end of the movie.
About 9/10.
I would say even less than that.
Yeah,
19th, 20th.
A half an hour, like the last half hour.
Last 5%, last 3%. This movie's what, 17 hours long, something like that?
That's Dune. But nobody's seen Dune. Everybody's seen this movie.
I've got the book. I've never actually read it.
Nobody's read or seen Dune.
Is that Frank Herbert? Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read or seen it.
No. Yeah. So, but yeah. Gosh, there's
you know what I liked?
What?
I really liked Lockdown. Like, there are a few moments where, I could, he did more things right than he did wrong. And I liked
I will agree fully.
I liked his villainous monologues, at least the first two or so.
And when he was intelligible when he spoke. That's a plus. So earlier on in the earlier movies, one of the big complaints was they're not distinctive when they speak. They don't make sense sometimes. Like Megatron, I can not understand a word that he said in the first movie, and they all just run together. But yeah, very distinctive look, very distinctive when he spoke. He had a distinctive personality. He had a nice look. I didn't hate the gun face. I thought I was going to hate the gun face, but I didn't. I liked Lockdown. I'll give it that.
Galvatron was a waste, even him being in the movie. Kinda.
Oh, and I hated the transformation. I couldn't hate anything more than that.
It's
kind of a cheat.
Well, I mean,
it's just stupid looking.
It's like,
yeah, the bunch of little balls.
I'm certain they could probably do it randomly the other way too, like when they supposedly shift into whatever. But there were so many of them on screen, it was probably just easier from a technical perspective to have them randomly transform like that than it was to give them distinctive transformation sequences. God, I hated Galvatron, or I hated his lack of use. Okay, so that made me think. I think the most egregious thing in this movie, and of course it's a Michael Bay movie, but it's the physics. So the scene when they're fighting Galvatron, I think Tessa is an Optimus riding an Optimus, and Optimus gets hit. He crashes, transforms. Tessa's rolling on the road. Her skin should have been peeled off. Every bone broken. Her skin should be, she should be nothing but road rash and blood, and she should have died on impact. No, she might have a little scratch on her forehead.
Well, what about when they jumped out of the ship
When
and they're going down a building and they got 3 of them in their hands? Like, there's stuff flying everywhere. You mean to tell me they're not getting hit by any of that debris?
They're going to die.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a movie. I get that. And people say it's a movie. But you know what? It's also our brains. It's a bad movie. But our brains are wired to understand Newtonian physics. I have a ball in my hand. I throw it up in the air. The ball comes back down. I can predict where it's going to land. I know if I throw the ball, I can predict where it's going to go. If I fall, I can predict that I'm going to get hurt. Or I know how much to clench up if I think I'm going to get hit. So we watch this movie, and it doesn't match our perception of what reality should be. So it just stands out as just not making sense, and it's like a sore thumb. I can't stand that stuff. Can't stand it.
I always just write it off as it's a movie that would never happen in real life. I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to enjoy the movie.
The more realistic movies look with special effects, the more it stands out. So there are things that I can get by when special effects are kind of chintzy. But since that kind of looks like what would actually happen if somebody actually was thrown out of a transforming robot at 100 miles an hour, except for what actually happens when they hit concrete or hit asphalt, I can't help but just notice that, and it just takes me out of it. I should be able to turn off my brain while watching these things and just absorb it, just feel it, like I did with Pacific Rim. I don't know whether or not Pacific Rim was a good movie. I really don't. I never thought about it. I just took in what was on screen and I enjoyed it. I can't do it with these. I just can't. I can't do it.
A lot of that's the curse of just being a Transformers fan with all this knowledge in your head.
It's not even the Transformers stuff. I mean, I view these as an entirely different thing aside from the rest of Transformers. Just like G1 is different than Beast Wars, is different than Robots in the Skies, is different than Prime, is different than Animated.
I mean, I think a lot of people still have a problem with Prime being a bloodthirsty maniac.
I do have a little. I can't help but get over it. I can't help but have a problem with that.
What's happened to him in these movies, it's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's a progression of the character throughout the movies.
And even though Peter Cullen now doesn't really sound like Peter Cullen did back then, the fact that it's Peter Cullen kind of makes that worse for me. If it was somebody else doing his voice, I could.
But that's you being a fanboy.
It's me being it's me being aware of what came before, not me being a fanboy.
You have a lot of history in your head, a lot of precedent in your head.
It's kind of like Back to the Future when Marty McFly is making out when his mother wants to make out with him. He knows who that person is, and he can't see himself making out with him. I know who Peter Cullen is. I know how he's been. Who he's been in other movies or in other Transformers fiction.
Making out with him.
Yeah, it's like wanting to make out with my mom, and I can't do it.
But she's got a mustache.
Yeah, and she's got a mustache and cowboy hat, and she's 4 feet tall. Can't do it. Okay. Do we have anything else that we can say about this?
One last thing.
Okay.
The one thing that even though I like this movie, I really did like this movie, believe it or not. The one thing that did make me laugh out loud was at the very end, Optimus Prime magically shooting into the sky via rockets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
I'm not even.
These creators, we haven't heard a thing about up until now.
And he's going to kill them too, right?
I'm not even going to point out that escape velocity is 11 kilometers a second. I'm not even going to point that out, or 7 miles per second. Not even going to bring that up. And he can't get that out of those rockets. It was just silly. And how is he going to?
He believes he can fly.
He's going to run out of fuel. No, I'm picking on that. The thing I really hated about that scene, when Cade asked him if we'll ever see him again, and he said, just look to the star. When you look up at night and you see a star, think of one of them as my soul. What the hell? Just say, think of one of them as me. That works as me.
The even worse thing though, Brian, is what if he pulled out the old Jetfire add-on armor to use that to get?
That would have been awesome. I would have loved that. So
some old barn somewhere, and just Jetfire's remains are stuck in neatly laid in a pile in a barn.
So there were two Force themes in this movie. Souls, for a movie that talks so much about souls that had none, and mistakes, and the movie itself was a mistake. But I really hated the fact that it had to call out, that it had to force the mistake metaphor over and over again. We got it the first time. The fact that the whole idea of a soul was brought up so many times. I got it. You do it twice, that's fine, but you don't have to mention it over and over again.
Well, Galvatron had no soul.
And that's why he had no fear. And a man without fear is a man without hope. Wait, no, it's the other way around. Sorry, Daredevil. The end of the second issue of Born Again. The end, Kingpin, there is no corpse.
I mean,
there is no
I don't know
corpse.
who I was talking to, but it brought up a good point with Optimus Prime, shooting into space at the end of the movie. Where does that put us for the next movie? Because
Great
they're
question.
not going to do it in space.
Great question.
It's like Planet Hulk. That's all I can hope.
Yeah. And I have shown him
Coliseum.
that a man without hope is truly a man without fear. Sorry, I had to finish that thought. So the next Transformers movie, the next Transformers series, Robots in Disguise, takes place after Predacons Rising, and Optimus dies, more or less, in Predacons Rising. So the next series is ostensibly going to look basically if you didn't pay attention or you didn't know better, you didn't watch Prime or Predacons Rising, and considering it was on the hub, that would make sense. And of course, this one's going to be on the hub too. But Bumblebee is going to be the leader. So it sort of kind of makes sense that Robots in Disguise is, on the surface, could be construed as a continuation of this movie. I mean, not at the finer details, but in the broad strokes, you could look at it that way. I'd kind of like to see a movie without Optimus Prime in it, with Bumblebee as the leader. Because in this movie, they even pointed out that Bumblebee is leading the Autobots in Optimus's absence. They said that he royally screwed it up, but, I mean, I could enjoy that.
Well, as far as the future movies go for me, Brian, I can actually, they'll never do it, but with the advances we've seen in the technology that the humans have at this point, and I'm not sure if I want to see this or not, we could, if they go this route, we could have Head and Power Masters by movie 6.
That would be wrong, son. That would be wrong and awesome at the same time.
I know, so I'm saying with the technology they have now,
okay,
in this movie,
okay,
we could by issue 6 be looking at the inclusion of, since this whole thing of two worlds being one, working together.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot, and I can see them going in that direction. But what I'd rather see is basically like Voltron. Humans are like Voltron, and the Transformers are the Transformers, and like giant like combiners or like Mazinger Z style robots or Gundam mechs fighting Transformers. That could be fun. Like Pacific Rim.
So basically, like Paladin says, Master Force, the best Gundam series that there is.
Yeah, actually, that's probably true. I'm not a Gundam fan. God, the only Gundam I've actually watched start to finish was Gundam Wing, and that's kind of laughable.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Watch G. Please go watch G.
Triplet and I were at Hobby Town, USA this past weekend, and we were looking at Gundam kits. And I saw Death Scythe, and I'm like, ooh. It's like, I hate this.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Okay. So I don't have any...
Don and I could give you some required viewing.
Yes.
Okay.
Build fighters.
Was it 0083?
That one's like extremely 80s.
Ooh, I like that.
Like rock out with your hair out and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like power, like hairband music. Super
basically, you would need to have gym music playing in the background to give it the complete effect.
That would be great.
Yeah, it's like way over the top.
So, for the fans out there who like this movie, and for Diecast, and John, I want to apologize. I haven't had a chance to really get this off my chest, and I'm not going to belittle the movie that much going forward, but I really had this vent session. I really appreciate your consideration. You guys are awesome, and I'm sorry. I really am.
I think the same thing with me, bro. I mean, I didn't. I'm glad I saw it, but it's like I've said it elsewhere. I went in with zero expectations, and I was basically telling the movie, hit me with something memorable that I walk away from this movie thinking, this was awesome. This scene was awesome. And the
I
only
didn't
thing
get
I
it.
took away was how good John Goodman's performance was as Hound. That it's a big thing for me, but that's all I'm taking away from this movie.
Overall, it's my least favorite. And like I said before, on a technical level, Revenge of the Fallen is worse, but Revenge of the Fallen is such a cluster that I can enjoy watching it just to see how bad it is. I wish if this movie had Transformers Heaven or something in it, I might have liked it a little better. But it didn't. Okay, I guess that'll do it. Anything else?
I don't know. My favorite part of this movie review was, as the one person who hated this movie without even seeing it, I didn't even have to say how bad it was. You took care of it for me. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The instant movies.
Yeah.
You get to see how bad the movie is before you actually see it.
I know a lot of people really like the movie, and I can't shut my brain off.
The movie was better than Rise of the Darkspark.
Oh, yeah. So we didn't mention that. So the review is earlier on in the show. I just find the game I found it so I didn't finish it. So I hate that I wasn't able to finish it, but it was so frustrating to play. There was a scene early on later on in I think the second level in which you're flying around as Shockwave, and those little flying orb things can shoot you, and you'll never ever 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 see them, and they shoot you like 5 or 6 times and you're dead. It's ridiculous. It's I would not recommend buying it unless you get it on the cheap. As I pointed out in the review, you probably want to play Headmasters on the Famicom Disk System before you play this.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was actually speaking, I think it was Captain Rufus in the chat, I would actually recommend playing the C64 game first. If you have a Commodore 64, play that version first. If you don't have a Commodore 64, go buy one on eBay and then play it first. Or you could emulate. Yeah.
Yes, or you could just download it.
You just download it. Okay.
Or heck, if you've got a Super Nintendo, you can play Vortex, which is basically the aborted G2 game with a new skin.
Did Vortex actually come out?
Yes, I have it.
So,
nice.
do the vehicles transform in Vortex?
It does, but it's a lot like this movie. It's just kind of blobs sort of reforming.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Vortex was a Super FX 2-chip based game that was going to be released. I think in '93. It was the G2 game, and I think Game Pro at the time actually did a preview of it, which is I think the only reason anybody knew that the game was coming out as Transformers G2, and never came out. Instead, we got Vortex. I hate that so much because I would love to have an official Transformers G2 game on the SNES. Would love that so much. If somebody can find that ROM, I would love to see it. Actually, John had mentioned in the pre-show that that Primal Rage 2 cabinet was found. We're still finding crap like this. I mean, it's entirely possible that ROM is out there waiting to be dumped.
And that basically, I think them finding those ET cartridges has sparked a bit of retro nostalgia, even more than normal.
Which cartridges, Don?
The ET cartridges they found.
Oh, yeah.
So I think people are like, this is kind of cool. I remember this. Let's go find more stuff from the past.
So I found out, thanks to Chris Triplett, and I'm getting into new Soundwave territory here, or old Soundwave, if we ever do that.
Soundwave.
There's the mall nearby. There's actually a vintage game store. Now, Retro Reboot in Charlotte, which I love, but Charlotte, it's like an hour and 15 minutes from here. They have quite a bit of classic gaming stuff, but this one's actually much closer, more like 20 or 25 minutes, so I'm going to hit that up this weekend. So, I love video games. If you actually would ever want to hear us bring back New Soundwave, email me, or tweet at
Email
that John D, that John D on Twitter.
Harass me on Twitter, since I'm a Twitter.
I mean, I harassed him enough that he brought the show back for one day.
John, I will be the producer. I will come up with the content.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever I need to do to make that happen.
As an adult,
yes.
not a teen, Cade.
Ender brought Leia on. She was so cute too. We actually get to meet her at TFCon.
Who?
Ender's daughter.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm excited
I'll bring
about
my
that.
kid on the show, but I mean, if she's up at
She can't. She
7:30 at
can't.
night,
She can't
help me.
And
please.
she can't speak yet.
I didn't
No, but she
realize
can
Ender
sit
was
there.
going to be at TFCon.
He lives in Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah, so it'll be convenient. I love Ender. You know, the last time I saw Ender in person, he hugged me. He's a great human being.
Was it a lingering hug?
Yeah, it was kind of awkward, but you know what?
Okay.
I went with it.
Went a little long.
I went with it. Ender. So if anybody wants to know, in person, Ender is exactly like he is on the podcast. But it's true. But he's a great guy. I really like Ender. Okay, so that'll do it for this week. We will be back next week, and we will not bitch about Age of Extinction for 50 minutes again. Promise. I think that was more like 40 minutes, but
Maybe like 10 next week.
yeah, had a lot to get off our chest. So let us know what you thought. Tweet us at TF Radio. Let us know on our Facebook page at facebook.com/TFRadio. Email us, contact@tfradio.net. There are tons of ways to contact us. Do it. Let us know what you think. Tell us why we're wrong or tell us why we're right. Always love interaction with the fans. If you're not already catching us live, we broadcast every Wednesday at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We broadcast at tformers.com, at tfradio.net/live, YouTube. We make our show available in all kinds of places. It's pretty great, and we love interacting with the chat. The chat room's awesome.
We're like Visa. We're everywhere you want us to be.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, after the show, we have a Google Plus Hangout. Are we still having one tonight, Diecast?
Yeah,
Sweet.
absolutely.
Sweet. God, you're so awesome. You're my hero.
You are the wind beneath his wings.
You can write.
I
can't.
He reminds me of a very young John DeLuna. So helpful.
John's awesome. So
John is awesome. No, dude. John is awesome. I've gone back and looked at all the emails and crap that John's done, like pro bono, over the years. He's like a saint among men. He's my hero. I love John. I really do. And, of course, Melvar and Diecast and Don as well. I already said that about Diecast.
They're right here. You have to compliment them.
Yes, I have to compliment you guys, too.
It's all right. I don't really do much of anything. So.
Yeah, and don't forget special guest Attack Cat Massey.
And I love you, the fans. You guys are great. Okay, that'll do it. If you're watching live, we'll have a link out for the Google Plus Hangout very shortly. So we'll catch you later. Have a good one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good 4th.
This has been Radio Free Cybertron. Visit us at tfradio.net for show notes and to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at tfradio for news and updates. Watch our live stream at tfradio.net/live. Join our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/tfradio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, TF Radio Network. Have a question or comment? Leave it on our Facebook fan page or mail it to contact@tfradio.net. This podcast is released under a Creative Commons license. Any part of this podcast can and should be redistributed, but please, proper attribution is required if you know what's good for you. Jeez, when are these guys ever going to move out of their parents' basements?